All right, so we're on to chapter 47, which is the penultimate chapter of Dune. Only one more to go, and things are really starting to get intense. So the Prattish Emperor Shaddam IV has now arrived, and he's sort of hanging out in Arrakeen in this, call it a throne room. His ship is connected, so he can technically get in and out of it relatively easily, and he's sitting on a throne, and he is with Reverend Mother Gaius Helen Mohaim. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but anyway, she's pretty, she's been around for a while. Sounds like she's the super Bene Jesuit, and good old Harkonnen, Baron Harkonnen is there as well. And pretty much the Baron's really worried about what's going on with the Fremen. And of course, we all know he's generally freaked out because he knows that this group is extremely powerful, but the Emperor's playing somewhat coy with him. When the Baron presses him on this issue, the Emperor says, hey, look, I got 5 legions of Sardaukar here. There's a giant sandstorm coming in. There's nothing that's going to happen right now. The Emperor then starts to confront the Baron because the Emperor's been checking things out down south, the southern part of Arrakis, and he sent a bunch of troops down there, a bunch of Sardaukar, and almost all of them got killed. At this point, the Emperor's pretty much convinced, as far as I can understand, that the Baron's been hiding the fact that he's been raising up a giant Fremen army, possibly to overthrow the Emperor. Now, we all know that that's not the Baron, but the Baron's like, oh boy, this is bad now. He suspects me of all this stuff. Is he going to kill me? Plus, the Baron knows that, like, hey, Paul and the Fremen are probably coming to kill all of them. The Emperor also says, like, hey, did you know there are actually some greenery down there now? So it seems like the Fremen are starting to terraform Arrakis a little bit with the scheme they have with all the water they've been collecting and whatnot. And the Emperor also managed to capture Aaliyah, so Paul's sister, and we find out that Aaliyah, like, single-handedly was just knocking out Sardaukar right and left. So she enters the room, and they're all kind of amazed by her because, of course, she's a little kid but talks like an adult. But in particular, the Reverend Mother, Aaliyah, gets into her head and just starts totally freaking her out. And the Reverend Mother's really wanting to get rid of Aaliyah. So Aaliyah then starts just talking smack to the Emperor and the group there and saying, like, hey, Paul is coming for you all. You're all in big trouble. There's nothing you can really do about it. And at this point, even the Emperor's starting to get a little bit nervous. And there's all sorts of explosions start happening outside. I hear that the shield's down despite the storm. And now the Emperor realizes, oh, there's actually something going on here. And he turns to the Reverend Mother and is like, look, we need to hide. We need to form a plan. So as they're retreating into their spacecraft, you see through the doors leading into this room a bunch of shadowy figures, Fremen, as they're about to enter this area and bring us to the conclusion of the book. So this was a really, really good chapter. I like the way that Frank Herbert kind of tackled a lot of things in terms of the Emperor's suspicion of the Baron. While we know that the Baron kind of understands what's actually going on, and you have this ominous battle happening outside, and you're feeling the angst of the Emperor and others from their perspective, rather than seeing kind of like it from the Fremen or Paul's perspective. So good piece of writing. Definitely enjoyed this chapter, and the next one's a really long one, but that'll conclude our full summary of Dune. So I'm looking forward to getting into that, sharing, and I'll talk soon.